Welcome to the Unfiltered Friends podcast, where we humanize your favorite creators through their personal stories and then learn something from them. I hope you feel inspired by today's guest, and if you do, share it with someone who needs it. So without further ado, here is Unfiltered Friends. Hello, Unfiltered Friends. Today I have on Charlotte, otherwise known as TheSpectrumgirl. She talks a lot about it seems like both autism and ADHD. Does that feel accurate to you?
Yes, that feels accurate, and it is accurate. Yeah.
So how often, I'm starting to see this more. I see it listed on people's pages every so often, where is this audhd? It's AUDHD.
Yes,
Is that like the terminology that you would use if you have both?
that's right. ADHD is like this new fancy buzzword terminology for autistic and ADHD. So it sounds French almost. ADHD.
Yeah. ADHD.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it fancy. Get
Yes.
diagnosis and make it fancy.
I got the fancy ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are originally from Norway.
Yes.
But you're not in Norway currently. Do you just travel a lot, or?
Well, no, I just don't fit in my own homeland, I guess, and I'm on the run constantly.
You're on the run.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by that? Why you feel like you don't fit in Norway?
Yeah. I guess every country mostly, and people who live in their country have some things to object to of their own country, men and women and non-binary people. But the thing is that I have a different type of personality that does not really go so smoothly with the average Norwegian person, and Norwegian ways, Norwegian customs, Norwegian socializing, social codes, and just the Norwegian way. I'm just not very Norwegian, actually, and I am super like Norwegian. I was born
we can hear it.
Yeah. I was in the Arctic. I was born in North Norway, above the Arctic Circle. I'm like super like very cold Norwegian, icy, snowy, all that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm on the run. I just can't. Their narrow-mindedness of Norwegians. They are, of course, lovely if you get to know them, many of them. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Norwegians are awful. No, but I just feel like it's very hard to connect to people in Norway when I'm speaking Norwegian to other Norwegian people. The way that what I'm conveying is not being perceived in the way that I intend it to be. And now I understand why. And that's because I think differently, because I'm autistic and ADHD, but mostly because I'm autistic, and the way that I just react and think about things, and things that just come out of my mouth. It's just stuff that doesn't sit well with many Norwegian people. Like the culture, that's the word I was looking for. The Norwegian culture is a bit reserved when it comes to connecting and making friendships, and it's actually not so different from American.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think we don't take, like we take maybe like physical sickness like more seriously than we do anyone who has maybe just a different way of showing up in the world. Do you think that maybe because you grew up in an area that was more closed-minded, that's why you got your diagnosis much later in life? Because you got diagnosed at 38, is my understanding.
Yeah, I got, but first I had been on sick leave for about a year or two, I think it was. Now it's
Sick leave?
yeah, sick.
For what?
Well, in Norway, when you get sick, if you have been in like employment, like steady employment, what is that called? Yeah, like when you have like
A job?
yeah, that is like permanent job.
Okay.
If you've been in a job for more than, well, I think 6 months or a year, if you get sick, you then have in Norway have a right to be on a full year sick leave with full pay.
What?
Yeah, so
I've never heard of that.
yeah, but that's how it is in Norway. Like, I think it's like that in Sweden and Denmark as well. Actually, in France too, maybe. But yeah, we also have this thing with 1 year full paid maternity leave, and for But still, that's a digression. But so I had to actually use my year because I got so ill, and then after that year was up, to continue to have some income at all, you start kind of if you still too sick to go back into normal work life, which I was, like very mentally ill and with the CPTSD, which I had gotten from being bullied at my workplace, but bullied my entire life up until adulthood, and I was in an abusive relationship, and then everything just exploded and crumbled. And that's when I went to my GP and said, trigger warning, I'm going to kill myself if I go back to work. I'm going to kill myself. And then my doctor said, well, then we will not send you back to work.
So what point did you get your diagnosis?
That was after the waiting for job money year. When I got on full disability, which I am now, which I've been for, I think, 2 years. Yeah, the year I got diagnosed when I was 38. Oh man, I think it's been 4 years. Oh yeah, it's been 4 years since my... Yeah, so I was 37 when I got burned out and completely crushed. And
so how did that diagnosis help you? Like, how did it help you, like, understand maybe your experiences that you've had for the first, 37 years that you were on Earth?
It has made me accept that... Well, that sounds cliche. I would rather say that it's helping me to heal, obviously. It's helping me to not hate myself. I mean, I can't say I love myself magically, but that part about hating yourself so much is the reason why a lot of people get so depressed that they don't see any other way than than unaliving themselves. So, so when you kind of stop hating yourself so much, because so that's what it did to me. It gave me permission, kind of, or a clear message that said, there's like, they had it wrong. You're not this evil, horrible person. You're actually autistic and you think differently, therefore you say things differently. Therefore, all these people have misunderstood me just the way that I felt that they misunderstood me my entire life, because that's what I felt like. Everybody keeps misunderstanding me, and it made me feel like I'm in a twilight zone. I feel like this isn't real. Like most of my life, I felt like, what's happening? This is surreal. Why do people not understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to be nice, yet their answer is, how can you say that? That's so rude. And can you imagine how frustrating that is when you're actually just doing something that you genuinely thought was a nice thing, and then for it to go around and be the complete opposite of what you thought was going to happen.
My friends know that if they come to me for advice on something, they're going to hear the unadulterated truth. And if they don't want that, then they don't come to me. So with you, I feel like you should be more so the flower instead of the bee. You attract instead of try to figure out where you should end up. Does that make sense?
The flower instead of the bee attract.
Yes, because the flower is fragrant and just attracts the bee, but the bee is flying around trying to find. So it's essentially it sounds like you have aspects of you that are trying to find how you can fit in instead of just being who you are and attracting the people who see you for who you are. Does that feel accurate?
Yeah, I'm so visual that all I could see was like a swarm of bees and flowers. And
is that so? When it comes to using analogy like that, is that what happens? Is like your brain just gets really visual? Now there's a swarm of bees. I was just talking about one flower, one bee, and now you have a field of flowers and a swarm of bees.
Yes, it's like a whole swarm of bees, because you did this also with your finger, like so I was like,
that's so interesting.
I can like see the like
so when people like
figure of speech as well.
You talk about how you like think of things differently.
Yeah.
Like, is that an aspect of when people talk to you? Is like your brain just goes like, what does your brain do when I say things like that? Like, how is it different for you than someone who's neurotypical?
I think it can be a bit exhausting.
I can imagine, especially with the whole swarm of bees now. That's terrifying.
Yes. Many ADHDers, they say like they have bees in their brain. I've never actually understood that, because how can you have bees in your brain? I think I take it very literally, but I do. I just see what's kind of outside, like just like all the things are just like very like coming like in my ear, like a noise or a stinging light or awful smell or a really bitter taste or something, and just like lots and lots of impressions, overstimulation. It's just like disco lights, like kind of like that.
So like sensory, it seems like there's like a lot. It's like really intense and a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So you're trying to like, would this be considered what you would call masking, where you're trying to like stay with that person, but your brain is going a bunch of different directions?
Yes. So that's extremely exhausting. So because it also like getting intrusive thoughts, like so many intrusive thoughts, like trying to have a serious conversation with someone, and then I get hung up on like a hair follicle on the side of their face or something. And
like me right now?
No, I can't really see your face in detail. It is so pixelated.
Oh, okay. I know.
But there's like, like that, and then I can start while they're pouring their soul, and then I'm like, why am I like? Can I not like just stop constant like and or
so? Can I make a suggestion?
Start thinking about the shopping list or Yeah.
When you're doing that during this interview, if you want to vocalize it, this is a safe space to do that. So if you have something going like, hey, this is where my brain is going, this is how I learn about how best to show up for you during this interview.
Oh.
So you're free and it's judgment free. If you need to go somewhere else, I'm totally here to listen to that as well, because we're here to learn. Well, I want to really dispel a lot of things or have people understand a lot of things about autism, which seems to be a passion for you. What made you so that being said, if you have something going on, just tell me. If you interrupt me, that's okay too.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help you when I say that?
Yeah, I feel safe. It's
good.
Nice.
Good.
I'm not used to that, so that's really lovely. Yeah.
So what made it important for you to share as much as you do on social media about autism?
I was really angry for a while after being on sick leave and waiting money or whatever, and then getting on disability. And when I got my diagnosis, I was just so hurt and angry because I had been very, 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 very depressed. Everything was so dark for so long, and I had no spark of life because I wanted to just give up, because everybody told me I was a horrible person for so long. So I just wanted to give up. But what did you ask?
Hold on, I'm having a moment now too. Wait, what did I ask? Why was it important for you to share about your autism?
Because I was angry after all of that, and I got angry, and I wanted to kind of I wanted to reveal how like people are thinking about people like me, and how they are kind of, you know, like superheroes and vigilantes. People, they really love them and their quirks and all of that, and but only when they are in their costume or mask, you know. But the thing is, okay, no, I'm not trying to say that I'm a superhero or anything.
You're a superhero. We're gonna say that for the rest of us.
No, that's like so self-absorbed of me to do that kind of and like comparison, like superheroes and vigilantes. Like, no, I mean, like, but they okay, so, or funny, weird, strange people get always in movies and series get always what is the word in English? Celebrated for these things, and people laugh in the audience and like, that's so funny, that's so cool. But those things are the things that people used to bully me over, and like, really, like, I got in so much trouble. And when I watch these things on the movie screen, and that's like my hobby, is actually like watching lots of series and movies and stuff. That's like my main hobby in life. Like, so I because there's so much to relate to, but so I just was angry because I was thinking how opposite everything is, how like everything is like just topsy-turvy, like everything is like a Twilight Zone. And I'm like, okay, so now I have my diagnosis, everybody suddenly now treats me for like I'm in my costume and respects it, you know. But
before they didn't?
No, before they would say, you are so rude, you're such a bitch, and like awful, like all the, like, how can you say the things that you're saying? But now when I have my diagnosis, people are like, it's like now people can see that costume or whatever. So it's like opposite, because I used to have to mask before and to survive and to kind of like make myself small and fit in, and people didn't like that, you know. They didn't like it. So, but they it's
It's like once you got the diagnosis, all of a sudden people treated you differently, but
Yeah.
you've been that person the whole
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
The only difference is now the way you interact has a label. I actually just posted a video this past week talking about after I went to therapy and I healed a lot of the trauma that I had experienced. A lot of people fell off. A lot of people were not my friends anymore because they were connected to the unhealthy version of myself. And so as much as it might hurt to lose those people, if those people aren't truly in your corner, what are you really losing? I think it's like an illusion of connection instead of actual connection, because they were connecting to what's essentially your mask. That's probably, do you feel like maybe that's an aspect of it, that like you were showing up in a way that people would accept you, but maybe wasn't true to who you were, and people attached to that instead of who you are?
It was just a lot of falseness, falsity. No, what is the word? Yeah, it's just like a
just
lot.
Fake.
Yeah, everything. I mean, everyone nowadays go around saying that the world feels so fake, all that. But this is a different level kind of fake. I've asked people around me, like, do you genuinely like, do you enjoy this situation right now? Do you feel relaxed, and like, do you actually feel like this is interesting, like to have this sitting around this table talking with these people? And people would say, yeah, I love this is so nice. And then I would realize that this is not for me. Because I can't be myself. And then at the same time, I don't really even believe that this person actually mean what they say, that they're happy with this situation.
They're just more focused on like maintaining it's at the expense of themselves. I finally got to a point where I just like, my friends don't even ask me if it's like late night. I go to bed early. They don't even bother asking me anymore. But before, I would force myself into these situations that I didn't want to be in at all, just so I didn't rock the boat, that I didn't make people uncomfortable. And I can imagine that you had aspects of that with yourself.
Yeah, I rocked the boat and made people uncomfortable without even realizing it all the time. And I was more like walking around thinking, what have I done to rock the boat? How did I even rock it? How did this happen? So
that's gotta be so frustrating.
Very, very. And nobody really wants to explain it in the level of detail that I need to understand either. Like, now I ask a lot, so much. Whenever I know somebody has misinterpreted me, I am not afraid to ask a lot of questions, like, what do you mean? Did you mean that this and that? I just want to get to the bottom of things for the first time in my life. And I've solved so many things, like solving all these situations for the first time in my life, just because I'm not scared of just saying things truthfully anymore, but being nice about it. Don't have to be so I'm
just like listening to you, and you're just like, yeah, I can like feel like frustration coming out of you, because it seems like you're trying so hard, and like still struggling with it. Have you found community? Have you found a place where people truly accept you, or has it been kind of a solo journey for you?
I've found community where people accept me. Yes, definitely. And autism, ADHD,
ADHD, the French version,
or the toilette, or the HD. Yeah, that is like
that's the new term.
Or the cologne. Well, yeah. Where now I lost.
Oh God! Oh, you know I'm doing this too, so don't.
I keep digressing.
I was asking where you found
digression,
like where you Where have you found community?
Oh my God, you're so good at like finding where we were again.
Yep.
The community is super nice, and it's like coming home and feeling safe. And obviously there are mean people everywhere. There are mean people here as well that I've encountered in the autism online community. Some gatekeepers, tone policers, and I'm none of those things because I'm, like we talked about earlier, I'm not part of that whole I'm so offended about this and that. I do think it is okay and valid though to say I'm offended or this hurt me, of course, but I if someone says it, I don't believe in like hunting them to the edge of the world for what someone said. I just want people to stop and, okay, so let's hear this person out.
Can I ask you about a few of the subjects that you cover on your social media? For people who don't understand what masking is, can you describe what masking is?
Yes, masking is literally what it sounds like. It's it's a self-defense survival mechanism that also neurotypical or holistic people, everyone can do, but that certain people, especially autistic people, do to a much more higher extent, on a much higher level than other people do, because of how different we are when we are not wearing a mask. We're just so different from what society deems acceptable that we have no other choice than to wear all these different types of masks in all these different types of situations in order to adapt and survive. And it's a constant pressure to also practice. When we are home by ourselves, it doesn't stop. We may like hang that mask on the coat hanger or whatever, mask hanger on the thing.
Okay.
But we still keep practicing in the mirror or wherever. Like I used to practice by watching movies and learning scripts and learning how to interact with people. I learned social intelligence by watching an immense amount of movies. So much. Nobody else in my childhood did that. Not that I know of.
When you mask like that, what are you feeling internally, like behind the mask, like your true self?
Well, it depends on what situation I am in and what mask I'm wearing.
You have several masks?
Oh gosh, yes.
Can you explain?
Oh, I can even be. I mean, like, so it's also like mirroring other people, you know. If I observe somebody one evening, it's like, okay, now I have observed this person, and I can be that person at another event where this person is not. I can just borrow their mask because I see how they interacted with the people around them, and okay, I can use this kind of behavior, this kind of interaction, the words that they use, the smile, the eyes, also the clothing style. Okay, I take notes, and like it's wild how, and then just archive it like a robot. And
it sounds tiring what you're describing.
Yeah,
it sounds exhausting.
So For example, when I used to work as a designer in design agencies, like graphic designer, that was my career, my job before I got burnout. And it did not go very well. And I tried all sorts of different masks. I worked in London, in some of the largest design agencies in the world, that I got headhunted straight from university, because my designs were awesome. They stood out. They were different from others. And people said, "Oh, your designs are so quirky." I'm like, well, yeah.
My brain works different, you know?
Yeah, all the other students hated it. But yeah, so in those work situations, for example, in London, because being an intern, I had to put on my fawning mask, like, and I'm actually like more of a clown naturally. My natural, a robot clown, maybe. Yeah.
Wait, I thought we weren't supposed to call you a robot, and
No,
now you're calling
okay.
yourself a robot.
It's okay.
But you're not a robot.
I never said that it's not okay to call autistic people a robot. But
I will just, I'm not going to. Okay.
Well,
I don't like.
But I like technology. I don't understand why it's an offensive thing. But anyway, but I was thinking about
I
data.
think it takes the human element out of
Yeah,
you.
yeah. You know, Data in Star Trek.
I love Data. Yeah. I used to watch that all the time.
I feel more like Data in a way. So he could also, I guess, learn a lot and just take from his archive all these different things that I feel exactly like Data. Wow, how did I never see that before? That's like me.
You talked about overstimulation. And that's something that I struggle with massively. Like if there's too much happening, I literally have to remove myself from the situation. I was at an airport the other day and the boarding area was in the walk area as well. And I had to go put myself in a bathroom stall so that I could get away from everything that was happening there.
Oh.
Can you talk about overstimulation and ways that you kind of bring yourself back to center when you experience it?
Yeah. I have to just, it depends also on where I am when I'm overstimulated. Again, I always say it depends on the situation, for what mask I'm wearing. It depends on situation for how to bring myself back from overstimulation or meltdowns. I mean, if I'm in a situation where people around me are not being helpful, then it's like close to impossible to down stimulate, because most of the time it requires to, like you said, to remove yourself from a situation, to go and isolate for a minute or two or hour or a couple of days or a week,
disappear from Earth, go to the moon.
Yeah. You just have to get away from everything and just pull the curtains, everything, turn off the lights, and take all my clothes off and like put on, I not completely naked. I need to have like my underwear on, but then
same.
Because that feels weird also, to be completely naked. It does not feel like, oh, I feel so free. No, that feels like,
no.
I feel like, So, but to not have something that is constricting my body in some way. That's what I feel I need to have overstimulation away. And then also to have a right temperature and a correct lighting. Like, oh, I already said that, pull the curtains. And maybe just like get under the covers and just like close my eyes and be completely quiet. Put in earplugs, just dark, quiet, or actually just put on something to watch some Korean drama or something.
Korean drama? Is that what you're into?
Yeah, especially Korean drama.
But like, so I noticed that when you do kind of like squirrel in a certain direction, that's what I call it. I do that all the time. Just squirrel. Like I'm talking about this, and then I watch you kind of beat yourself up a little bit over it. Why do you do that?
Because I know I had something interesting I wanted to say that was much more important. But so why did I self-sabotage myself by digressing? Because the other thing I wanted to say was also quite interesting, but I cannot really make a choice between the two.
Mm-hmm. So it's just frustrating. It's got to be immensely frustrating because you had this concept that you wanted to portray, and now it's just like, and if you need to message me like within the next 5 years about this conversation, I will remember it's been recorded, so I can go back and reference it.
That is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Come to think of it, that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah.
That was complex.
I have a few questions from some of my viewers if you're down to answer.
Oh yeah.
Are you down for that? So if you guys ever want to ask questions to a guest, patreon.com/unfilteredfriends. That's where you get a lot of the behind the scenes. Liz wants to know, what are some of the positives about autism in your perspective?
Well, I feel like feeling like very self-centered if I answer like egotistical.
This is about you.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
the egotistical part. No one here is judging you. No one thinks we're trying to learn from you.
Okay. So I'm gonna sound like I really love myself now then, because it's like a positive part about autism.
You know, it's okay to love yourself, right?
Yeah, but like in a narcissistic way.
You're not a narcissist.
That's the word I was looking for. I'm afraid it's gonna sound narcissistic, like Narcissus looking at his own reflection in the pond. Okay, so the attention to detail is pretty neat, I guess. Well, I can only speak for myself, so I'm going to say me and I. Okay, so my ability to empathize with other people, I feel, is on another level. And that's because I'm autistic. Because I have... Okay, so because I never fit in growing up, I sat on the sidelines watching and observing, and I was a wallflower, and I became very, very good at observing people, and this has made me very, very empathetic as well. So I guess there's a silver lining there to having been very lonely and bullied and alone and on the sidelines wallflowering and all that. It's not for nothing, because it does help me connect with people. Now, later, I guess, in life. I mean, earlier in life, it didn't really help me much. They just misunderstood me. One time, a girl was crying when I was 12 years old, and I've said this before. She was crying, and then I licked her face. I licked the tears off her face because I thought that's what Simba does in The Lion King, or Simba's mom, Nala, Simba, they lick each other's face. They're cats. So because I was still on the cartoons and animation movies, I was 12 years old. So she was crying tears, and I'm like, licked her face. That was my way of showing empathy when I was 12. But of course, that did not go so well. Seen as... So yeah, I guess now when there's been a few years, I've adjusted my ability for empathy.
Because people see what you did, not the mentality behind it. Like, I will admit, I licked someone's face and I was like, whoa. But then I heard I was mimicking a loving action I saw in a movie, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And people are missing
Yes.
that part of it. So I can imagine that's like, wait, that's probably what you're talking about earlier. We're like, wait, no, this is what you didn't let me get to the part where I explain.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because I always start in the end, and like I almost talk backwards, like they do in Japan. You know, in Japan they speak from the end of the sentence to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is neat about being autistic, that I am very empathetic. So anyone who has me as in their life shall be lucky, because I'm so attentive and empathetic that, oh my God, maybe it will become feeling like burdensome. I mean, I think sometimes, yeah, it can be feeling like too much, I guess, if people are too empathetic and too attentive. So I need to work on that too, I guess. But
I'm wondering if this phrase will help you in the same way that it helped me. Whenever someone says "to," you're to this, you're to that, they mean for them, not for everybody.
Yeah, that does help. Yeah. So but
I feel like you've been told so much your whole life that there's so much wrong with you, and I feel like you've really absorbed it as truth, when it's really just people's opinion on yourself, which still hurts. But it's just like, if these people are going to talk to you this way, if they're going to treat you this way, like you're just this like broken, messed up thing, then those are people that just need to go away. But that doesn't mean you need to fix anything. Does that make sense?
That sounds so kind. Yes, I like it. That's lovely. And how
I think you could have those connections. I think you can. But I think you've been so bombarded with so much negativity that it's kind of colored the truth of the people who are around. There's people like me who wouldn't do any of the things that you're talking about. And I bet you the more you open up to that idea, the more wonderful people will come into your life.
Yeah, and I feel like I've just started experiencing these wonderful people coming into my life for the first time in my life.
What is dating like on the spectrum?
So difficult.
What is difficult about it?
It's like I don't really understand when somebody is flirting with me, and it has to go very, very, very far before I understand that they're interested in me. Like, you have to like literally like grab my face and like, I like you, can I kiss you? Like really, like I cannot. I will. They will sit like, you're cute. You're so cute, and I still don't understand. I think that's just what people say to each other. Like, I would be, and here I sit here and I say that, but when I'm in that situation, I just, maybe I have some sort of some, what is it called? This you don't really see yourself to deserve anyone.
You struggle with worthiness.
Yeah. So I never really.
You just assume they're not interested in you.
Yeah. Also, the people that I'm always interested in are never interested in me. So
What's interesting is I actually talked about that 2 podcasts ago. We talked about the healing stages of women, and we actually got into that subject. That might be an interesting podcast for you to listen to.
Yeah.
We speak specifically about not seeing yourself as worthy of being flirted with, and why you go for people who aren't reciprocating the way that you feel.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you if you're interested in learning more.
So that I think.
How do you flirt? Like when you flirt? What do you say? How do you let someone know that you're interested in them? Or you just say, hey, I'm interested in you?
Well, there's this thing that has gone around viral on social media, like when I'm flirting and what others see. And have you seen those kind of funny reels? Like So there's this. There's been so many versions of that made now.
Info dumping is definitely one of the ways that I flirt.
Huh?
Info dumping. I'll just start trying to teach you about something.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm obsessed with clouds, and I will start talking about all the different cloud formations and what they mean for future weather. And like, if I'm telling you that, it's because I'm trying to share something I'm passionate about. And sometimes people just see that as weird instead of flirting. But
oh wow, that's that's charming. But
that's what I'm kind of saying with the people that you interact with. Like, if you interact with the right people, you showing up as yourself won't be something that will bother them. They'll embrace it and love that about you.
Oh, I remember last time I flirted with someone.
Okay.
It was so strange. But it was this Japanese pop star. And he will never listen to this, so it's okay. It's okay. I can say
okay, we can go.
Nobody, I mean, we live in two separate worlds. He's a J-pop star. So,
and you are in the Korean drama world, not J-pop. Okay, let's get that right. No. And that's way different.
But I mean, we lived in the same place in Bangkok last year. And he was with his J-pop group. And I mean, in the beginning, I wouldn't like notice that he hung around me, like by the pool or whatever. And so now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, is that what he was actually like trying to get my attention? And I was like,
yeah,
blah blah blah. I didn't even like notice at all.
But you were interested in him?
No, not until I found out that he was interested in me. So, but this isn't serious stuff. This was just like kind of like very like flirt, flirting thing. But then we talk in the elevator a little bit. He's not very good in English, so it's like a lot of face talking and smiling and all of that. So. But I'm saying like, oh no, I always go to the roof. The roof is the best place. Yeah, I can't stand the pool is too noisy. Yeah, I'm on my way to the roof. Bye. And then I go up there and I pull off my shirt and everything, and I lay myself out there, like because I'm usually all alone, always up on the roof, nobody there to watch me, and I can get sweaty and nasty. And then suddenly this Japanese pop star guy comes walking up like, I'm like, and I'm like, like he actually like came up after I was like I just randomly small talked in the elevator. But I think maybe that was an invitation to like, hey, so I'm on the roof.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that I was doing that.
Maybe subconsciously you were like trying to flirt with him, or?
Well, I don't know.
Well, if you're used to alone time, you're inviting somebody into that alone time. That is a sign of interest, right?
But still, I didn't understand that he was interested in me. I was more. I'm just realizing it now that my communication led to him coming up to the roof and then asking for my number, and as I was like just sitting there in my darn bikini feeling super awkward with no makeup and just sweat dripping everywhere. It was I was nasty. I don't understand. Like, he was like this beautiful pop star, and I'm like sitting there like sweating, like literally in the Bangkok heat, sweat running. Like,
but it sounds like that's how you're viewing yourself in that situation, not how he's viewing you in that situation. Like,
I don't know.
You're thinking you're nasty. He probably thought you were a glistening golden bikini goddess. Like, it really is like the different perspective. There's actually a question that Yvonne wanted to ask about. Do you know about rejection sensitivity disorder?
Yeah, I do. Yes. So that's also like when it can also be related to the dating scene, obviously.
Can you explain it to me?
Well, I want to finish the
Yes,
funny
sorry.
story.
I did it again. Continue.
No, but how? First, I need to get to the funny part of.
So the Japanese guy asked for your phone number.
Yeah.
You're glistening and sweaty on the roof.
No, he asked for my line if I'm online. You know, Line, the app.
No.
Oh, so you have WhatsApp, I guess, in the West, but here in Asia, everybody uses something called Line.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a green app, Line, Line. They use it in Japan and in Thailand, and like everywhere, Korea. So it's like, do you have Line? I'm like, yeah, sure, I have a Line. Yeah, and then we connect on Line, and he's just sitting there talking to me for like an hour. I'm like, what the heck? He's like sitting here talking to me. And then how do I flirt? I'm more like, whoops. That sounded like a fart.
So goofy.
Oh, yeah, goofy. Like,
well, you said you're a clown. When you're not masking, you're like a clown.
I didn't fart there. Oh. Like, I do the most dumb shit. And then, so I think I was just sitting up there doing that. And then he's like messaging me, oh, I want to like, let's hang out or something. And I'm like, okay, I'm ordering pizza. Do you want pizza? And he's like, okay. And then meet on the roof on some evening. And then we're eating some pizza, like just some Pizza Hut pizza, I think, because it was like difficult to get pizza that time of day. And then we're sitting up there eating that pizza, and then he's like asking me, so are you a model? Like, huh? No, I'm not a model. What the heck? So like these weird things. And then I don't realize until after that meeting that he was maybe a bit interested in me, like yeah, because not until he actually texted me, I want to come to your room. That's when I started suspecting it.
I bet you do. It's popular.
I was like,
it's a hot spot, but no.
But then, do you know what I said? Why do you want to come to my room?
He's trying to flirt with you, like, why? Like, oh.
And because we're neighbors, we're living in here. There's nowhere else to go. We can go to the conference room, or I mean, like, we can go to my living room. Or also, it's really bad in English, so it sounds more direct, you know, like when you say like Japanglish. So it's like, I want to come to your room. It's like, oh wow, that's straightforward. But it's also like a bit culture shock, I guess, because
I think that's pretty direct. I think there's very little way to interpret that in a different way.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I think I said, I'm going to do laundry. Do you want to meet me in the laundry room and do laundry?
Romance.
Yes. So you see how awkward I am? And then he said, okay.
Yeah, it's look, I'm a quality time person. So like, it doesn't matter what we're doing as long as I'm spending time.
Yeah, but then, I mean, like, meeting this guy in the laundry room, and then I noticed that, like, oh, he looks a lot younger than me. So I said, hey, I'm a lot older than you, I think. So also super charming. I'm like, oh, that fart sounds. Oh, do you want to go do laundry? Oh, I'm really old. Like, and then he's like, how old? I mean, I'm like, try and guess. He's like, 30? I'm like, no, I'm older. It's like, it's like, yeah. It's like, it's like,
yeah.
I'm like,
he doesn't care.
No, but anyway, whenever he's in my room, though, by the way, he doesn't touch me because, you know, Japanese people, they're so polite. So it's perfect for me. Perfect. Because I don't want to be touched, like, not like immediately, because it's like so awkward. I don't know what to do. If he would touch me, I would be like, touch,
Yeah, like turn it into a joke.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we were just like sitting, hanging out, and like 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 that for really, really long. And I don't know. It's like, yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was last year. It's last. I don't think I'm ever gonna flirt again for a really long time
I
because it
think,
was painful.
yeah, I mean, just flirt in your way, and the right person will vibe with that. Like if someone acts
Yeah.
like a goof in front of me, I think the most attractive thing to someone like me is someone showing up as like their true authentic self. Like
Yeah.
I won't judge anybody for that as long as they're not being harmful, like purposefully
Yeah.
harmful. Um, the
Hmm.
right people will see that and think that that's endearing.
Hmm.
You know how many people, well, you remember, see how I just started rattling off cloud facts? Do you know how many people make fun of me for that? But some people think it's wonderful, you know? So I
Yeah.
just focus on the people who think it's wonderful and reject the people who judge me for it.
But I'm thinking like that's not even like a flirting. That's like an actually interesting thing, though.
Yeah, but
That's
I'm
like
giving you that information because I want to impress you with my information.
yeah,
That's how it's flirting for me.
yeah. That's difficult then to understand.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Yep.
uh,
I'm a weird one.
yeah. But the weird is good. There's good weird and there's bad weird, but we're good
My,
weird.
Thank you so much for giving me your time. I know it took some like coordination to get this going, especially because you're 12 hours ahead of me.
I thought it was.
And me doing the opposite way, I go to sleep way too early for this to work out. Where I was
Uh,
doing in the evening, I would have been falling asleep.
but
Which
I
is
interrupted you so badly by having to, because I wanted to finish my story about this dude.
yeah,
You
but
had a
you
question.
that's part of your process, right? Like you
Yeah.
just have to like go through it, and I'm understanding of that. So it's no issue for me. I'll take a step back and let you finish your process so that
But
we
now I
can.
feel bad that you didn't get to ask me finish.
But you've given so much info. You've taught me
Oh,
so much. Um,
are you
we have
finished
covered.
now? You don't want to ask me anymore? Is that, do you don't have time? Is it?
I have okay. Here, okay, I'm just going to be honest about my mindset. There was one question that I asked that we moved on from because you weren't
Okay.
done with the Japanese story, but I also only have about 15 minutes. So if you can promise that we can finish that in the 15 minutes, we'll do it, or we'll wrap it up now. So you tell me.
Oh, we can finish within 15 minutes. I just
Okay.
feel awkward about ending it, talking about the Japanese dude. I wanted to talk about
Okay.
something else.
Okay, we won't end it with the plus I can also cut out some of the Japanese dude part so it's not so like intense.
Not the
So the
dancing part though. That's fun.
okay, I'll leave that in. So one final question. It was about is from Yvonne who wants to understand about rejection sensitivity disorder. Do you have an understanding enough to explain about RSD?
Yeah, I feel like that is more common in those with ADHD. Everything you hear, like 70% of what you hear, is just negative things, no matter what they are saying. Even if they're saying something positive, your brain is just set to hear negative things. And that's when you have dysphoria, because you're not even capable of hearing the good things that are being said to you. And that's the scary, scary part. And it's because you've been destroyed in your brain, your connections, the way you're thinking. Shit has happened.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, they get far too
Like deep
into that rabbit hole of and spiral into but it can, you can train yourself out of it, of course,
how?
by little by little, step by
Mm-hmm.
step, um, to realize that it's not easy to realize that when people are saying nice things to you, that they actually mean it. It can be hard to believe, but also that if someone doesn't pick up the phone, for example, it does not mean that they do it intentionally to hurt you, for example. That's what rejection sensitivity dysphoria can feel like. Oh, they must not have responded to my message within the first 5 minutes because they actually don't like me. They do this because obviously I'm a crappy person and nobody likes me. And so that's what you feel like all the time when you have rejection sensitivity dysphoria. You just feel like everybody must dislike you, or everything about you, or do things to avoid being around you, to avoid be like anything about you, really. And so
I mean, I've dealt with that. I think that's not uncommon for people in general to have horrible experiences. And then it's kind of a little bit what I was saying with you is like you've had so many negative things said to you that sometimes you kind of like paint the way that you view the way people. Have you felt any time during this interview where I was saying kind things to you that I wasn't being genuine? Did you struggle with that at all?
No, you're not like that. I don't get that vibe from you that you are giving. You've never set it up to even get a chance. It's not possible. I cannot get vibe from you.
Good.
You're not a good example of this.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I don't want to be. I mean, that's something that I had to address in therapy quite extensively. Because what I would do is called personalization. So I'd make something about me in a negative way that had nothing to do with me. There was an example. I'll give you a visual example. You're driving down the road and someone's tailgating you, right? They're right up and they're trying to rush you, right? Mm-hmm. You can think, oh, this person is trying to be mean to me. Or you could think this person is trying to get to the hospital and their loved one is about to pass away. Both those things have the possibility to be true. Why choose the negative one?
Yes, that's right. Everybody has a reason for something. So it also comes down to what I said earlier, like we need to listen to each other more and be more. Oh shit.
Oh, where'd you go? Oh, we're back.
Oh my God, the batteries.
Okay. Well, we've been talking for almost 2 hours, so.
Oh shit.
No. Oh, Are you okay?
Yeah, but I got scared now, like the battery, because I know that this has to upload afterwards.
Yeah, it's like 99% uploaded right now as is. So it's pretty much it'll take like maybe a little bit, like maybe a minute after, so we'll be good.
Good. Yeah, so rejection sensitive dysphoria is kind of like that. Just you have to train your brain to understand that it's not about you. It's also not easy. It's not just that easy to believe to either when you say, well, because it's about the other person. It's like that doesn't help much.
Doesn't help how you feel.
No, it doesn't. But we just have to work on ourselves, because like what you said, other people's opinions should not have
that much weight.
Yeah, have that much weight over you. So if we learn that, then yeah.
I can send you that podcast too if you want to listen to that. I've had so many just like immensely interesting people, and I love talking about things that I don't understand. Like I don't have a lot of experience with autism, so I'm really grateful to like understand, and I know there's a lot of people that will take a lot of good from this.
Oh, I feel like I only talked silly talk the whole thing.
No, I think
because it's so late. I become really silly when it's late.
No, we covered serious, we covered silly, we learned about each other. I think overall it was a successful conversation.
It's really lovely.
If people are inspired by you and want to reach out to you, where's the best place for them to do that?
On Instagram.
So the Spectrum Girl.
Yeah. Why did I say that with Texan? I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Instagram.
But yeah, so thank you for being on Unfiltered Friends, and yeah, I really appreciate your time.
It was lovely talking to you, supdaily. No, Chris.
That's me.